Good morning and welcome to our annual High School Counselor Conference for the Church Educational System, also known as CES. I'm Allison Jones and I am a BYU admissions representative and I will be your host for today. We are so excited to tell you all about the CES institutions. First, we will watch a video that does a breakdown of each of the CES entities.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for your interest in the church educational system. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints sponsors 4 campuses of higher learning: BYU, BYU-Hawaii, BYU-Idaho, and Ensign College. It also operates over 370 institutes of religion near other university campuses and Pathway online learning. This presentation will answer the most common questions we get from students applying to a CES school. Each CES campus offers different advantages to students. However, they all share some core characteristics. They each have a temple easily accessible to students. A true example of higher learning. Students at each campus are enriched by weekly devotionals where church leaders and faculty inspire and instruct. Central to students' experience are religion classes, but it's not uncommon for classes in science, math, and other topics to begin with prayer. All campuses have young single adult wards where students can attend church and hold callings. These wards provide a lot of opportunity for spiritual growth, service, and social activities. Faculty and students at all CES campuses live by an honor code. This includes high moral standards in academic conduct, residential living, and dress and grooming. And all 4 campuses grant a deferment for students who are admitted but want to serve a mission. Each CES campus is a dynamic place to learn and grow, not only academically, but spiritually. We hope this presentation will help you in deciding which schools you should apply to.
All right, there will be some opportunities for some awesome prizes during this live stream, including this BYU tote bag that is also insulated. Take on all your trips. This beautiful blanket from BYU-Pathway Worldwide, a hammock from BYU-Idaho, and a water bottle from Ensign, and a t-shirt from BYU-Hawaii. So make sure that you are participating in the comments, and we have representatives from each of the institution there to answer all of your questions, so be sure to send your questions throughout this live stream. And now, we have the honor to hear from Moroni Juarez from Ensign College.
Thank you, Allison. And on behalf of Ensign College, we're super excited to be able to share some more insight about our institution. But before I begin, I actually want to begin with a video that our very own students created. Now, a little backstory about this video. So, our students were given a very short time frame to create this video, and they really put their hard efforts and works into making something unique that really just showcases what Ensign College is all about. So please enjoy.
This is Ensign College, home to over 2,000 students and 68 nationalities who come to experience the diverse energy of this place. With over 20 different programs including computer science, accounting, interior design, medical assisting, and many more. Located in the heart of Salt Lake City, you'll never be bored. Each one of you has an important part to play. So if you want to know what makes us tick, then come to Ensign College.
Great, and I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. And like I said, it really just showcases the quality of work that our Ensign College students are producing. So moving forward, Ensign College, our main mission is to develop capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ. Now, as the applied curriculum provider, the way we do this is making sure we can equip our students with practical power as they develop market-ready skills, character, confidence, and lastly, the competency to succeed wherever they may end up going. Now, a little bit about us and what makes us unique here at Ensign. Well, every year we have roughly around 2,400 students that come and attend Ensign College. Now, compared to our sister institutions and other institutions within the state, we're a lot smaller, but that's on purpose. One of the benefits is you get a smaller, more intimate class size where you actually get to know your classmates and you get to know your professors, which really helps the success of our students. Next, since we've opened our doors in 1886, we've nearly had over 100,000 students come and attend Ensign College, which is a huge number. And what that means is our students get a vast array of network connections with our alumni for post-graduation and their success finding a job or finding an internship. And then lastly, something close to my heart is in this year, 22% of our students were first-generation college students like myself. So if you're someone or you have a student who's first-gen who may be nervous or a little worried about going to school, make sure to tell them that they shouldn't worry and that they're going to find success here at Ensign College. Now, another unique thing about Ensign College is our diversity and culture. As you can see there, we have more than 60 countries represented. Almost half of our student body are international students, which again, this means when you go to class, you might have a classmate from Italy, or another one from Sri Lanka, or maybe Canada, Mexico, Brazil, you name it. So if you're looking for a campus that's culturally diverse and enriching, that is something that you can experience at Ensign College. Now we're going to take a look at our 2024 graduate profile. This number will also include our graduates from BYU-Pathway Online. And as you can see there, we have about 2,078 students who graduated. Of those students, 1,190 were female, 888 were male. The other great thing is 931 were actually from the United States, while 1,147 were international. Another neat fact about our graduate profile is 832 of those students were actually returned missionaries, which is another neat fact. And then 458, again, as we kind of mentioned earlier, 22% were first-generation college students, again, finding success at Ensign College. Now we're going to take a look at our programs. So as you can see there, we have 4 different types of degree options that our students can consider, and many may actually not even know of. So first, we actually begin with our certificates. This is a skill-based, market-ready certificate that takes as little as 2 to 3 semesters to complete. Next, we have 2 associate options, an Associates of Science, which we'll just touch in here in a second, and our Associates of Applied Science. And then lastly, we also have bachelor's degrees here at Ensign College. Now we're going to focus in on our certificates. As I mentioned, this normally takes about 2 to 3 semesters, and one of the great things about Ensign is you can do a standalone certificate, or you can actually pair it with one of our associate's or bachelor's degree. And from that list, we have a lot of different certificates and certifications that you can specialize in, from anything from accounting to business language or business in general, or digital content creation, interior design, medical assisting, supply chain management, and so much more. So there's a lot of great options for our students to consider there. Next, and as I highlighted before, we have an Associates of Science degree. Now this degree is also paired with one of our certificates, but this is an option for students who are potentially looking to just get their generals done at an affordable rate. Plus, they also get a market-ready certificate to attach with that. And the best thing about it, it's 100% transferable. So if your students are looking to maybe transfer to another institution because we don't have a program in our school, or maybe they just have a dream to go to another institution, this is a great option where they can get those generals done and then transfer over to another institution. Next, we also have our Associates of Applied Science degree. So this is an option for students who are looking to morely focus on getting prepared for a job in a specific career field that doesn't take or require additional education. So this will roughly get completed within 2 to 3 years, and we have a variety of different programs that our students can choose from. And then lastly, we have our Bachelor's of Applied Science degree. Again, many people, when they learn and talk about Ensign College, are not even aware of this option. So again, we have the option of a 4-year degree. So for those who are looking to, again, maximize their skills and obtain more experience for their career, or perhaps they're looking to pursue additional education after their bachelor's degree, we have them covered here at Ensign College. Now, some interesting facts as well. So student to teacher ratio right now is 21:1, which leads to our average class size of about 20 students. And then as I highlighted earlier, we have about 100,000 plus students composed of our Alumni Association for our students to use and to get in contact with for their own success. Now, one of the questions I always ask our students why you're going to school or what's the importance of getting your undergrad is really for a job, right? The end goal is to find a career in something that you like to be able to provide for yourself and your family. So one of the things that we are really proud of here at Ensign College is that we have a 95% placement after graduation within a year. And some of the programs are nearly at 100%. So it's safe to say when you come to Ensign College, you're almost guaranteed a job right after graduation. Now, where are we located? Our campus here. So for those of you who may not know, we're located in downtown Salt Lake, the heart of Salt Lake City. And we're really located right next to the Vivint Center, or the Delta Arena now, City Creek Mall. And we're about 2 blocks west of the Temple Square and the Conference Center. And we're really close to the Capitol building. So again, you have access to a lot of these great amenities, but the other benefit as well is you're at the heart of the commerce. So there's going to be a lot more opportunities for our students to find internships and to find employment being in downtown Salt Lake. And our students also get access to an amazing parking lot. So again, if they're trying to catch a concert at the Delta Center, super quick 2 to 3 minute walk. So it's just one of those benefits. Next, at Ensign College, we always have an activity or an event happening every week. So it's safe to say, again, there's always something you can do to really maximize your own performance, or to be able to socialize and meet new people. For example, we are also have cultural nights every semester. We get to highlight different countries and their cultures and their food and their candy and so forth. It's just something that we love to share. We also have a lot of different clubs that go out and compete within DECA or the MIA chapter, and we're very competitive with other schools where our students are not just placing very high, but beating out these top schools to win out scholarships. We also have weekly devotionals that our students can really attend and be able to nourish their testimonies and be able to grow spiritually. So there's a lot of different events that our students get to really enjoy and to grow and to socialize and meet new people. Now the cost. This is something that's obviously important in everyone's mind. What does it take, or how much does Ensign cost to be able to attend? So as you can see there in this table, it's really split up into 2 sections, whether you're a church member or non-church member. Now, traditionally, when you go to school, you normally take about 12 to 18 credits, which on average is about 4 to 5 classes, and our students are only paying $2,002. That's it, which is very inexpensive. And for those who are not members, it's still very inexpensive compared to out-of-state tuition or international tuition rates as well. So again, we're trying to make college affordable. But even then, that money, that sum can be a huge sum for a college student trying to pay for their schooling. So we want to make sure we can help them out. And one of the ways we do this is through our Financial Aid and Scholarship Office. So as you can see there, 57%, more than half of our first-time, full-time students receive some type of financial assistance, whether that's through financial aid, through your FAFSA, or through a lot of the scholarships that we offer here from the institution. Now, one of the scholarships I like to highlight is our First Generation Scholarship. So if you're a first-gen student coming to school, you can qualify for a scholarship. Or perhaps you're a single mother, right, trying to go back to school and provide for your family. There's also a scholarship for that. If there's students who are looking for leadership opportunities and experience, we have an ambassador scholarship. They'll actually come out with me and go recruiting, and their whole tuition will be paid for. We have a self-reliance scholarship, a return missionary scholarship, and so many more other options for our students to really use, so they don't have to worry about the financial strains of paying for their education. On top of that, we make sure our students also get free UTA access. So that includes the tracks, that includes the front runner, the buses, the UTA on demand. We want to make sure, again, financially they don't really have to stress and worry about it, and they can take advantage of all these services to really focus on their career. Now, this all sounds great, but you may be asking, what does it take to get in at Ensign College? Well, we want to make sure, again, this is something accessible and easy for everyone. So what you're going to need is first and foremost a high school completion, or at least 24 semester credits of college work. Next, and this is optional, any college or university work that your students have done, I highly recommend they transfer over those credits, because that's going to save them a lot of time and a lot of money moving forward. Next, they'll need an ecclesiastical endorsement. For those of you who don't know, that's essentially, if you're a member of the church, that's an interview with your bishop and stake presidency to go over the honor code. And if you're not a member, that's an interview with either a bishop from our church or your own religious leader, and then our chaplain to, again, go over that honor code. And lastly, we have a very short essay. I always tell my students, super short, it's about 20,000 words. Just kidding, it's actually 200. So super easy, it's about 2 paragraphs. I've seen the youth write text longer than that. So again, we're making this simple. Now the great thing is we do not require the ACT or the SAT for acceptance here at Ensign College, so your students don't even have to worry about submitting that exam. So again, these are all the requirements we need in order to be considered for admissions here at Ensign College. Now, if you or any students have any questions moving forward, please feel free to contact me. As you can see there, my email is moroni.juarez@ensign.edu. You can also go to our website at ensign.edu/admissions, and you can set up an appointment with me directly, or give us a call. Like I said, I'm more than happy and more than willing to be able to help you or any of your students. I also speak Spanish as well. So again, trying to help anyone who's very interested in getting a higher education. Lastly, please follow us on social media for any updates on our student life, on deadlines, on admission requirements, and so forth. You can see our handles there. And again, on behalf of Ensign College, we thank you for joining this live stream, and I'll give it back to Allison. Thank you.
Thanks, Moroni. That was awesome, and I loved learning more about Ensign College. Now, it's everyone's favorite time of the live stream. It's time to win some prizes. So our first prize winners are Trevor Sanders and Carla Coleman. Again, those winners are Trevor Sanders and Carla Coleman. And you can send an email to the email address listed here with your name and mailing address so that we can get those prizes to you. And be sure to continue sending your comments and questions in the chat for a chance to win later on in the live stream. Okay, so each school within the CES, or within the church educational system, has unique programs to offer its students. Here you can see the different degrees and certificates offered at each of these institutions. As you meet with your students, be sure to go over their different interests or likes so that they can find the school that has the program that's best fit for them. And don't forget that Institute is a great option if your student chooses to go to a school outside the church educational system. And now we'll have the opportunity to hear from Melissa Seipel to tell us all about BYU.
Thank you, Allison. On behalf of BYU, welcome and thank you so much for being here with us today. We are going to go through a lot of information in a very short period of time. So I want to highlight our high school counselor website made specifically for you. This is going to be your go-to resource. Everything that I'm about to share with you, all the resources and links will be housed on this website. So as long as you've got this down, you'll have that forever for your future reference. So who is BYU? We are a large private religious university sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints located in Provo, Utah. Through our Inspiring Learning initiative, we seek to invite the Spirit onto our campus so our students can learn by study and by faith. And you'll see this type of learning both inside the classroom and through our many experiential learning opportunities such as study abroad, internships, and research opportunities. Currently, we serve about 32,000 undergraduate students across 10 colleges and over 190 majors on campus. As you see right here, our full list of majors can be found at majors.byu.edu. This screenshot right here is an example of what you'll see. You'll notice that some of the majors have an asterisk next to them. Those indicate a limited enrollment program where students who are admitted to BYU will complete some prerequisite courses and then apply to the major. Those without the asterisks are open enrollment majors where any student to declare them. We also have a great source called Major Snippets, where it's basically a compilation of YouTube videos that introduce the majority of majors so students can go through, explore, get to know what these majors are really like. It's an awesome resource that you can point them to. So what does BYU look for? This is a big question that we get asked all the time. And to answer that question, we've got a great video coming up next.
What makes a great BYU student? There is no checklist or magic formula to getting into BYU, but here are some pointers. As you prepare to apply to BYU, don't forget to consider our mission and aims. There are 4 aims to a BYU education. Spiritually strengthening. We recommend attending, participating in, and graduating from seminary. Participate in other activities that will strengthen your testimony of Jesus Christ and prepare you to learn in an environment that is rooted in the gospel. Intellectually enlarging. To be prepared academically, we recommend you take challenging college preparatory classes during high school. Pursue your passions inside and outside of the classroom. Character building. A person of character should have a strong work ethic and be able to demonstrate resilience and honesty. You should be respectful of others despite differences, honor commitments, and have integrity in all you do. Lifelong learning and service. We look for students that already have a love of learning and a sincere desire to serve others. Cultivate your love of service through sustained exposure to meaningful service opportunities. If you want to be considered, you have to apply. Take the time necessary to present your best self.
So as you hopefully learned, the aims are very important to us, and you can always refer back to aims.byu.edu for a review. Please point any student interested in applying to BYU to the aims, as it will be very important for the application process. All right, so BYU uses a holistic review on our application review, meaning that all of the portions of the application are important. We'll review their academic preparation, conduct commitments, essays and activities, recommendations, and Seminary and Institute. You can learn more details about this holistic review at this website right here and point your students there as well. We do offer some preparation tips for BYU and college in general. They can be found at prepare.byu.edu. Some of the recommendations include attending seminary, taking challenging coursework that they can still be successful in, participating in extracurricular activities, and service. I do want to emphasize that on this website, these are truly recommendations. So if a student is lacking in one class that we might recommend, that's okay. They really are recommendations, but a great guide for college preparation. If any of your students are currently taking AP or IB classes or preparing to take those tests or are involved in dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, or any type of college work, you can see how those credits and test scores might transfer to BYU credit through these two websites, apip.byu.edu and transfer.byu.edu. So let's jump into the application now. Our application can be found at apply.byu.edu, and this application is adaptive. So as the students go through and fill out their information, they'll see new requirements popping up based on their background. So we would encourage them to go through at least the first half of the application in order through the academic related educational history portions. So including the high school page, the high school transcript page, seminary pages, all of those will trigger additional requirements later down. We have been getting a lot of questions recently about where is my recommendations page? It's usually because they haven't finished the first portions of the application. So once they do that though, everything will be there for them and they can continue on with their application. We do have a $35 application fee, but for students in need, they can look to see if they're qualified for a fee waiver at feewaiver.byu.edu. Okay, so one of the first steps that they're going to do when filling out their application is connect a church account. Both members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and non-members will need to do this step. There are instructions for connecting that account, troubleshooting steps for those who might be having issues, and instructions for non-members on how to set up and connect a church account. We also ask that high school students report their high school transcripts on their application. So they'll need an official copy of their transcript to reference as they go through and input their grades. And if they have questions, they may come to you about how your school lists grades, their grading system, whether they're terms or semesters, things like that. So be prepared for those types of questions as well. If any of your students are involved in concurrent enrollment, dual enrollment, or taking any college level courses, we will require a college transcript to be submitted for their application. So please encourage them to send those in as soon as possible. It's not an automatic process, which a lot of them like to expect these days. So to avoid any issues near deadlines, please have them send their college transcripts in ASAP. We are still currently test optional for the ACT and SAT approved through winter 2027. If you get questions, should I submit a score? Should I not? Is this good enough? Is this not? Our best piece of advice is just to say if they feel like their score is an accurate representation of their academic ability, go ahead and send it in. Students will also need to complete some conduct commitments, including agreeing to our honor code and related policies, as well as completing endorsements. Unlike last year where they could just start the endorsement process, we're back to our old system of them needing to complete their full endorsement before they're going to be able to submit their application. So just keep that in mind this year as well. When it comes to recommendations, most students coming out of high school will have 3. If they're enrolled in seminary, they'll need a seminary teacher recommendation. What's new this year is that in the past, the seminary teacher recommendation has been sent out automatically by our application, but this year they're going to need to provide their seminary teacher contact information for that recommendation to go out. So that's a good tip for this year. They'll also need a high school teacher recommendation from a teacher from their junior or senior year in a core subject class. so math, science, English, or social science. And then finally, they'll need an other recommender, who can be anybody that they want it to be as long as they're not related to them. So all of these recommenders will receive an emailed form from BYU to fill out and submit back to BYU. We can't accept any external letters or recommendations or emails or phone calls, only what we receive through the application. This is also a fairly new portion of our application, the Essays and Activities Commitment. This will appear right before they reach the Essays and Activities portion of their application. They'll need to agree that all of their work will be original, and that while they can get help with their essays and ask people to review them for them, they cannot pay anybody to help them with their essays. And they cannot use generative AI tools as they're writing their essay responses. So when they get to the essays, there are 5 essays and 2 activities questions. All of our tips for writing strong essays for BYU can be found at essays.byu.edu. Some of these include picking meaningful activities and experiences to talk about, and proofreading, of course. But if they're looking for, what is BYU really looking for, they can also look at what we look for at byu.edu. These essays really help us get to know the applicants, who they are, what matters to them, and it's a very important part of the application. So make sure they spend good time on these. If you're working with any students that have any kind of international background or experience, whether they're from another country or United States citizens that have traveled around to other countries, they may have some additional requirements for their application. The first biggest one is any international schoolwork that's not US accredited needs to be evaluated by a professional company and submitted to BYU. These should not be self-reported on the transcript page of their application, even if those classes were accepted by a US high school as transfer work. They should not be self-reported. We need that evaluation. And for any students who are non-native English speakers, they'll be required to submit an English proficiency exam. And then just as a heads up for any truly international students who are here on a visa, they may have some additional visa requirements and some financial requirements if they are admitted to BYU. So those are helpful to know in advance just so that they can plan. We know that a lot of your students are probably planning on serving missions right out of high school, and we get asked a lot, should I apply now during high school or later on my mission? We would definitely encourage everyone to apply during their senior year of high school, whether or not they're planning on a mission. If they're admitted, they can simply submit a deferment form once they receive their mission call, and their BYU admissions and any BYU scholarships will be held for them while they're on their mission. All right, so for all of our application-related dates and deadlines, you can find that at deadlines.byu.edu. As you can see, our application opened a few weeks ago, and our priority deadline is coming up on November 1st. The priority deadline will give applicants a little bit of extra consideration in the application review, so we would definitely encourage everyone to try to meet that deadline. But if they need a little more time, that's fine. They can still meet our final deadline of December 16th. And then decisions for BYU are scheduled to be released in February of next year. When it comes to paying for school, there are a lot of opportunities to get money. We would first encourage everybody to fill out the FAFSA. We know that that's been quite an adventure this past year, but still a very important piece that we hope everybody will do. And then we also encourage everyone to fill out our scholarship application at scholarships.byu.edu. We also have a great resource called Scholarship Universe, which is essentially a database of vetted, legitimate, external scholarships, not sponsored by BYU, that students can look through and find additional sources for scholarship money. And then we do still have our Cougar Pell Promise, which is a relatively new program, but a really great one for eligible students. Essentially, the Cougar Pell Promise will cover any gaps in LDS tuition for up to 8 semesters. It's a great program, and we're very excited about it. If you're working with any first-generation students, we also have a specific resource for them, firstgen.byu.edu. We know that the application process can be pretty extensive, especially with our application. And so you can definitely direct them to this for help. And we also have a first-generation admissions panel on October 2nd that would be great for them to join in on. Finally, we would love for your students to come visit us here on campus. And if they're not able to come in person, we also offer virtual tours. Both options for in-person and virtual tours you can sign up for at tours.byu.edu. All right, we made it, you guys. So once again, here's that all-knowing resource resource, hsc.byu.edu. Everything that I shared with you previously, all those links and resources will be housed here for you. And finally, our very last resource that we also hope you'll use is us. Every state in the United States and most of the high schools in Utah have a specific rep assigned to them. So just go to reps.byu.edu and find your rep. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have, support any students that need any help, and just here to cheer you on as you apply to BYU. Thanks so much, and back to Allison.
Thank you, Melissa. And now it's everyone's favorite time again, time for some more prize winners. This time, our winners are Russ Tibbetts and Laree Bybee. Again, those winners are Russ Tibbetts and Laree Bybee. And be sure to send an email to this email below and include your name and mailing address so that we can get those prizes to you. Okay. Did you know that at the start of every semester, CES enrolls nearly 1 million students in its programs? Here you can see our on-campus enrollment, which includes nearly 60,000 students across campuses. BYU-Pathway Worldwide and Seminaries and Institutes also enroll a great number of students. BYU-Pathway including 65,000 students across the world, and Seminaries and Institutes having over 800,000 students. And now, here is Eddie Mayava from BYU-Hawaii to hear more about their campus.
Aloha, everyone. So good to be with you today. Wow, what a wonderful opportunity to be with all my colleagues in the CES. I'm grateful to be part of this great opportunity to share a little bit about BYU-Hawaii. But first, we're going to watch a video, and then we'll go from there.
This university, BYU-Hawaii, has a very specific purpose within the church educational system. That is to provide a capstone experience for the students of Oceania and the Asian Rim. Here, we bring together countries and cultures in ways that no other university can.
Our mission is to be and build people who follow the example of Jesus Christ.
This capstone experience prepares students to be lifelong disciples of Christ, who can be leaders and examples of peace and unity in their families and in their communities. This university is, and will continue to be, a place where people from across the world gather to be one in Christ and to educate and uplift each other. Diversity and unity work together here in remarkable ways. The future holds boundless opportunities for each of you. Go forth with confidence and embrace your prophesied role as a peacemaker and as a leader.
Hene hene ko waka, ko ale ale hapaha, heme ama amauia, for you and I. Haina mai kapuana, ko ale ale hapaha, heme ama amauia, for you and I, for you and I, for you and I. Aloha, everyone. Eddie Mayava again. Thank you so much for that opportunity to visit with you. That video gives us a little insight about our BYU-Hawaii campus. BYU-Hawaii, back in 1921, we are so grateful to President David O. McKay. As you see on the screen, this picture talks about these students. President David O. McKay, when he visited Laie back in 1921, he saw all these children from everywhere. Not only from Hawaii, but also from Oceania Pacific countries, Asia Pacific, the Asia Rim area, as well as the mainland US and other parts of the world. We're so grateful for the time that he had visited Laie. During that visit, he had an inspiration that there needed to be a school of higher learning in the area. The temple was already in Laie in 1919. His visit was 1921. Fast forward about 36 years later or so, he built the school. He followed that inspiration and made sure it became a reality. At BYU-Hawaii, in its early years, it was known as Church College of Hawaii. And our mission there at BYU-Hawaii, since 1974, when the name was changed over to BYU-Hawaii, our mission is to help our students become lifelong disciples of our Savior Jesus Christ, to become leaders in their families, their communities, as well as in their boards, in their stakes, and people that they'll be working with, and most importantly, help Heavenly Father build His kingdom. President Kawe, our current president, also reiterated the importance of our students learning together. He said here, set aside for the world of intercultural peace and unity through living the gospel of Jesus Christ. We have so many students from all over the world, and we're so grateful for the differences that they bring, which is an advantage to be able to learn from one another and be able to study together. Here in this beautiful community of Laie, our students are not only there to learn academically, they're also there to learn spiritually. We have the temple there in Laie, like I mentioned earlier, since 1919, so it's been over 100 years. BYU-Hawaii opened its doors in 1955. Again, it was originally known as Church College of Hawaii at that time until 1974. And then the Polynesian Culture Center, PCC. This was opened in 1963, allowing our students not only to provide funding for school, but it also allowed our students to help us perpetuate our Polynesian cultures, practice and train skills that they needed to do after they're done with BYU-Hawaii and be able to go into employment. It also provided the opportunity for them to share the gospel as they meet students from visitors all over the world. So we're grateful for the Polynesian Culture Center. We refer to this as a triad of learning, spiritually, academically, culturally, and socially. As you can see from this next screen, our student body is not very big. A little over 2,800 students there at BYU-Hawaii. Majority of them come through what we call the iWork program. These are students that come through our target areas, countries in Oceania, Pacific, and Asia Rim. iWork stands for International Work Study Opportunity Returnability Kuleana. Kuleana in Hawaiian means responsibility. So all of our students that come through the target area come through that scholarship program. We also realize that some of our students are U.S. citizens, so whether they're from the U.S. or dual citizens from international countries, they can participate in the Hukilau program. So as you can see from those numbers, 1394 participated in that program out of the enrollment, and 144 at that time through the Hukilau program. 67% is from our target area countries, Oceania, Pacific, and Asia Rim. So these are students from these areas that come and study there, and you could add about 9% to that, and that's our students from Hawaii, which puts us at about 75% from our target area. So other students that make up the 25 are also from here in the mainland U.S. and other parts of the world. So we also represent many students from all over different parts of the world. Sometimes 60 plus countries are represented there, depending on the semester. Our fall semesters is represented at BYU-Hawaii at this time. The student body requirements. When students apply to BYU-Hawaii, there are some things that we want to work on to make sure you're ready. Like any of our CES schools, we ask for the ecclesiastical endorsement to be completed. We're looking for students that has around a 3.0 cumulative GPA. So if you're around that point, that'll be great. We also require the ACT and the SAT. ACT requirements a minimum of 21. SAT is around 1,100. We'd also like to see that you complete seminary or serve a mission. I think it's wonderful that as you go through those opportunities, you become a little more prepared spiritually and be able to offer your experience and your testimony and things that we study there on campus. Financial aid opportunities for our students. We participate in the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, like any other schools across the country. We also have a return missionary voucher. These are students that are not only from our target areas like Oceania, Pacific, and Asia Rim, but also students that are, let's say from the mainland U.S. that serve in our target areas. So they also have the opportunity to participate in the return missionary voucher. And that endorsement is done by the mission president before students return home from their mission. We also have, of course, the work-study scholarship, the Hukilau, like I mentioned earlier, for our U.S. students. And then for all students, they participate in the Dean's List scholarships. So after the very first semester, if the student has a 3.75 minimum cumulative GPA on up, they'll be able to have a $500 award into their account automatically. So they don't have to apply or fill out a form. They just do good in class and they'll be able to get that award into their account. This next slide here talks a little bit about our cost of attendance. As you can see in Hawaii, the numbers may be a little higher than most because we're in Hawaii, right? So like any the CES schools, the cost for members, non-members is a little different, as you can see on here. So we have room and board, some estimates on costs, and other particular costs that students may have when they attend BYU-Hawaii. So that gives you an idea. Our website also provides the up-to-date information in regards to our cost of attendance. Okay. Our Holokai program or curriculum is pretty unique. Traditionally, most students go into curriculums where they have to complete general requirements. We kind of do that, but most of the time we ask the student that they need to select a major and 2 minors or 2 certificates from the 3 sections that we have. So we have arts and humanities, we have math and science, and then we also have professional studies. So this next slide shows you areas of studies in arts and humanities. So if students want to study, let's say music or Pacific Island studies, whatever the case may be in this section, that will be their top triangle, okay, if that's what they want to do. Now, once they select their major, then we ask them to select the 2 minors or 2 certificates from the other 2 sections that they didn't select yet. The idea is to help our students to leave BYU-Hawaii with a well-rounded approach and experience and background so they are able to cast their net wider and be able to find employment and become much more marketable. So if the student is majoring in arts and humanities, and then in math and science, we ask them to take a look at it and see if there's an area in math and science they'd like to minor in. So it doesn't have to be related to their major. Okay, so you have math and science here, and then we have our professional studies section here. So students are able to study these areas as well as religion, as you see there on the right side of the slides. So students are able to then select areas that they feel that they would like to pursue. So instead of us approaching education in a way that it's always required to take certain courses, we teach these courses or the subjects according to what they're going to study. So they're going to learn the math, the science, the writing, or whatever it may be according to what they're going to pursue in their major and their 2 minors. So that's our Holokai approach. Holokai is a Hawaiian word for their academic voyage or journey. Okay. The next part here is our services and faith. Besides religion courses, devotionals that we have every Tuesday, we have 3 stakes on campus, 1 merit stake, 2 single stakes. We encourage our students to go and serve in their wards and be able to be endorsed, right, at the end of the year, the 12 months they've been there. So we encourage them to go to their wards and serve and participate and be able to help out there in their various stakes and wards. We have wonderful dormitories there at BYU-Hawaii. We have a few that are coming up soon. So this is just a picture of some of our dorms for our single students there on the left and in the middle. And then on the right side, we have TVA for our merit students. TVA stands for Temple View Apartments. And it's wonderful with our new buildings there for our merit students. place to live and be able to house their families and their children. In regards to various activities that we have, as you can see there on the right side, there are many activities that our students participate in. Our student leadership and clubs office, they do a good job in providing opportunities for our students to be together, to play together, and be able to participate in various activities throughout the island, on campus, and other parts of Hawaii. So we're grateful to them and the many things that they provide to keep our students busy during the off hours of study and the weekend as well. Culture Night is one of our big performance opportunities or events for our clubs. We have over 40 clubs there on campus. We have a 2-day event for Culture Day, which all of our clubs present at 8, I think it's 10-minute presentation that they provide about their culture or about a club that they put together, and they have the chance to perform and provide that to the student body and community. APCC is one of our wonderful opportunities through our Career Services Office to help our students connect with employers, graduate schools, set up internships. So we invite these folks from our target area internationally as well as in the U.S. to come and visit with our students. Our students come with their resumes and ready to interview and be able to interact with these folks from all over the world. Just a few more slides, just some tips. When students apply to BYU-Hawaii, I think one of the things we want to make sure is that you understand that you're coming to study. In other words, when we go out there, we ask the students, are you applying to Hawaii or are you applying to BYU-Hawaii? We want to make sure you're totally clear on that. Of course, you can enjoy all of the beautiful things of the water activities and so forth, but we want to make sure that you're coming there for a purpose, and that is to study. The essays are important to us, understand our mission. That's key and something that we want to make sure you understand. We want to also make sure you understand our holokai, you understand the honor code when you come to BYU-Hawaii, and we also want to make sure that you commit to come and study with us. In other words, many students have come in the past for a semester or a year and then they take off. We really would like for you to come and stay and hang out with us and finish your experience while you're there. So if you're interested, take a look at these things and be able to let us know why you want to come. We also are active on social media and be able to provide a lot of the information there, whether it's about academics or spiritual events that we have on campus or events in the community and the Polynesian Cultural Center. We provide that to our students that are coming as well as those that are on campus. So if you're interested in BYU-Hawaii, you can apply. There's a QR code here, or you can go online and apply to BYU-Hawaii, apply.byu-h.edu. Other than that, thank you so much for the time and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Aloha. Alyssa?
Thank you, Eddie. All right. And if you want an encore of that ukulele solo, which was so awesome, this live stream is being recorded, so you can watch it later on. And now it's time for some more winners. Our winners this time are Matthew Lisco and Colleen Cummings. Again, Matthew Lisco and Colleen Cummings, congratulations. Please send an email to the email address below with your name and your mailing address. We know that costs can be a major concern for your students, and so here we show the breakdown for the tuition at each of our institutions, and you can note that institute is free for students to attend. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is so invested in the education of its members, as education is seen as a religious responsibility. And so the church subsidizes tuition for its members' students, and that's why we're able to provide such discounted rates. Here you can see the comparison for average public and private tuition as reported by the U.S. News and World Report. And you can see that comparison there. On top of great value tuition, each of these institutions listed here also partner with Scholarship Universe, which is a company that vets third-party scholarships so that students can match with good scholarships that are a good fit for them, and then they don't have to scour the internet for additional scholarships to apply for. And with that, we will now hear from Riley Hall, Director of Admissions at BYU-Idaho.
Thanks, Allison. I have to say, I think it's just perfectly appropriate that BYU-Idaho comes right after BYU-Hawaii in the lineup. We have so many things in common: the tropical climate, the beachfront property. They say aloha, we say yeehaw. There's so much to compare with there. It's easy to see why Rexburg, Idaho is known as the Honolulu of the mainland. Well, all joking aside, BYU-Idaho has a lot of great things to offer, and I'm going to ask Kelton to run us a quick little video clip here that'll let us take somewhat of a virtual aerial tour of Rexburg, Idaho, and our beautiful campus at BYU-Idaho. One of the things that I hear people say most frequently when they come to visit our campus is a phrase that starts, "Oh, I never knew." And that may end a lot of different ways. Sometimes they say, "I never knew how many different people you have from so many different places. I never realized how close you are to the temple," that you see right there. "I never knew how close your campus buildings are together and how easy it is to get around. I never knew how much there is to do right here in this area. I never knew how happy the people are here. I never knew how many fields of study you have to offer. We have over 120 different degree programs that students can choose from. I never knew, I never knew, I never knew. I never knew how it feels here." Well, we invite you to come and see it for yourself. Maybe you'll be one of those same people who says, "I never knew, but now I do." And as a counselor, that's an incredibly powerful thing for you to be able to say to the students that you're working with as they prepare for college. It's critical for them to have an idea of where they're going. And we invite both you and them to come and see it for yourself. Our student body numbers over 23,000 students. We have, over the course of the year, an additional 10,000 students beyond that because of our 3-track system, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We have fantastic placement. We have students from all over the country, all 50 states, over 100 foreign countries as well. We have 2 different temples, one that's already built and one that's being built right down the road. So many opportunities, so many things for students to experience, so many things for the students to learn. Well, we were on a focus today on 4 key principles. Our emphasis right now is helping students develop as disciples of Jesus Christ. We're focused on helping them to get on the path to success, and also we want to give them an experience they can afford in a fun, uplifting environment. Here's how we do that. Developing as disciples of Jesus Christ can happen in a lot of different places in a lot of different ways. We hope for every student that it includes our weekly campus devotionals. We have over 15,000 students who can fit into our BYU-Idaho Center every week for our devotionals. I mentioned the Rexburg Temple right across the street, and the other one being built right down the road. It'll be the only place in the world where there will be 2 temples on the same street. We're super excited about that. But discipleship development also happens in other places. It happens in student wards, it happens in the apartments, and it happens in their classrooms. As BYU-Idaho students get together and interact one with another, they're a part of a community of people who are trying to motivate each other to increase their efforts in coming closer to Christ. That's who we are. That's what we're all about. And that factors into every class, every activity, and every experience the students have at our campus. We also want to help students get on the path to success. We know that many students start with a clear idea of who they want to become and what they want to do with their lives. Some other students may not be as sure. Over and again, we try to help people understand the way to figure that out is to go to college. That's how you're going to get on the path to success. As you start taking advantage of the resources we offer, academic advising, tutoring, the mentoring available through small class sizes and close personal interactions with teachers, students quickly find their way and they get on a path that really excites them and helps motivate them for great accomplishments. I love what Elder Clark G. Gilbert, Commissioner of Church Education and former BYU-Idaho president, said, "At this university you will find a belief in the extraordinary potential of every student, no matter their educational background or their life circumstances. We believe in the power of everyday people. We want to give an opportunity to as many people as we possibly can, and that's why we offer the 3-track system, our opportunities for more people to enroll by using all of our academic calendar. Instead of just 2 semesters a year, BYU-Idaho offers 3, and each student is assigned to attend 2 of those 3 semesters in a sequence called the track assignment. That determines their academic calendar each year. And based on available space, we'll continue to allow students to enroll in other semesters as well that can help them accelerate their process to graduation. Because of the 3-track system, we're able to admit nearly 100% of our applicants. We really do believe that everybody's got potential, and we want to help as many as we can. Now, with that said, we also see that BYU-Idaho is increasingly a place for the aspirational student as well as the everyday student. Our average admitted GPA is a 3.68. We have very strong performance and test scores, and that turns into really fantastic classroom experiences and results post-graduation. One of the best things about BYU-Idaho, if you ask our current students, is the teacher-to-student interaction. The way our students connect with their faculty is incredible. Our faculty come from all walks of life and all sorts of professional backgrounds, accomplished in their own rights. They come to BYU-Idaho because they're passionate about their subject, and they want to help instill that same passion and excitement in the students they're working with. Our average class size is 28. That makes for a very, very propitious atmosphere for discussion and hands-on application-based experience. I want to let you listen to one of our faculty members who is a former Ivy League professor who came to BYU-Idaho because of her passion for economics. Listen to the way she talks about how she teaches her students.
I love teaching economics to my students, and I actually teach them at the same level here as I've taught them both at Cornell and at other institutions that I had a chance to teach at before coming here. The biggest difference is the classes are smaller here. I get to know my students better. We actually do more interactive things. But my students reach the same levels of accomplishment and learning as they did at those other universities. And they do an amazing job.
Well, I can't say it any better, and I don't think I need to. Look at the results. 89% employment rate within 120 days of graduation. And within a year, 95% employment rate. Students are going on and they're working at fantastic organizations whose products you buy and whose names you know. Google, Toyota, the federal government, NASA, JCPenney, Raytheon, Amazon, all over the industrial board, BYU-Idaho is placing students in lots of fantastic experiences, both as interns and as new careers. And that same thing holds true for students who are going on for higher education in other levels beyond the bachelor's degree. For students pursuing a master's degree, a doctoral program, medical school, law school, dental programs, and on, BYU-Idaho has really, really great placement rates for students going into graduate schools and professional programs. And here's the beauty. It does not cost an arm and a leg. You might have noticed a little bit earlier, at $4,800 a year, our tuition cost is just a little over half the typical public institution across the United States. And 67% of our students, as a result, walk across the stage to get their diploma completely debt-free. That is nothing short of miraculous in 2024. And for those reasons, BYU-Idaho has been given some fantastic recognition for our ROI, for best economic value, and for being really, really low cost and absolutely in the high end for the outcomes. And it gets even better. You may be aware that we've announced several new scholarships over the last year, including a new academic merit scholarship for new incoming freshmen. This is based off of ACT or SAT scores and GPA. A reminder, ACT and SAT are not required for admission, but they are required for consideration for this scholarship, as well as for freshman placement. If a student has higher than a 3.5 unweighted cumulative GPA and above a 25 ACT, which is about a 1200 on the SAT or higher, they can qualify for a scholarship with no application required. If they apply, they'll get for admission, they'll get considered. That's a 4-year award if they keep their GPA in college above a 3.75. It'll renew year after year after year. Now, some students come as transfer students, and we classify a transfer student as someone who has taken classes after high school. So no matter the amount of credits they might have accumulated through dual enrollment, they'll become a transfer student after they start enrolling in courses post-graduation. With 24 plus college credits, including some work done after high school graduation, there's also automatic consideration on the scale you see here for quarter tuition, half tuition, and full tuition scholarships. Now, maybe a student doesn't start with a college scholarship. They find their way academically after they begin. As soon as a person has completed at least 12 credits at BYU-Idaho, they can apply for our continuing academic scholarship, which uses this same scale. That's a 1-year award, but they can earn it year after year after year. And students who start with a small scholarship can level up if their academic performance continues to climb while they're in college. For any student who has just come home from a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, if they enroll at BYU-Idaho within the first year after their return, they're eligible for an automatic $500 scholarship just for coming to BYU-Idaho. And the list goes on. We're continuing to try to find more and more ways to make education more and more affordable for more and more people. One of the best ways to take advantage for the students you're working with right now in high school is to look at BYU-Idaho's early college or concurrent enrollment program for as low as $35 a credit hour. Students as early as their junior year can start taking classes from BYU-Idaho that can work together to satisfy both high school graduation requirements and college credit. There's more information at the website you see right there. We would love to answer any questions you've got about how you can help your students get an early start. It's a great way to give yourself a scholarship just by taking classes at a low tuition cost. Now, BYU-Idaho is academically superb. We have a fantastic environment and culture, and it's also a tremendous amount of fun. When people talk about what is there to do in Southeast Idaho, I love to remind them where we are. We're right next to Yellowstone National Park, the St. Anthony Sand Dunes, the Grand Teton Mountains, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the Snake River and Salmon River, that's world famous whitewater and kayaking. That's our backyard. It's a big backyard and we love to play in it. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. On campus, the experience continues. We have over 3,000 different student activities every year. That averages out to over 8 activities per day. And whether your interests are in intramurals, academic societies, service projects, performing arts, concerts, you name it, there is something going on and thousands of other people who want to join you in that experience, big or small. Come get involved, come see what BYU-Idaho has to offer you. Now, when it comes down to the application process, a couple of things to know. Our application is already open for all terms in 2025, winter, spring, and fall. We're very generous with deadlines, and so don't ever let a student talk themselves out of applying because they think it's too late. Scholarships also start when the students start. They're staggered throughout the year, so we can make it work to help them get started with that money that's eligible for them. Year-round study, I mentioned, is also available through our 3-track system. The application is found at apply.byu.edu. Some notable changes this year. You may be aware we removed our application fee. It's free to apply to BYU-Idaho. We also no longer require the BYU account creation that was previously part of our application, and it's an automatic submit. So as soon as a student is done with their last requirements on the application, their application will automatically be kicked in for review. There are no essays required, there are no letters of recommendation required, other than ecclesiastical endorsements. The portion of the application the student does, they can do in as little as 10 minutes or less. Again, the ACT, SAT are test optional for admission, but need to be submitted in consideration for academic scholarships. One other fun fact to know, if a student is interested in both BYU and BYU-Idaho, unless they opt out, the student who completes a BYU application will automatically be considered for admission to BYU-Idaho too. It's a great benefit. Now, again, come and see. We encourage you and your students to check out BYU-Idaho in person. One of the best ways to do that is through our upcoming Signal Prospective Student event we do every October this year. It's on Friday, October 18th. It's called Campus Day. This is a day-long experience where you and your students can come and experience BYU-Idaho firsthand. Campus tours, breakout sessions with academic departments, administrative offices like our housing office, our financial aid office, the admissions office, a massive department fair where students can go and mill around and talk to representatives and current students in those programs and find out what's it like to be a major in this program. The QR code right there will take you to the website where you can register. There's more information available online. It's totally free and it is a ton of fun. Come check it out. Well, there's so much more I'd love to tell you about, but I want to let you hear from President Henry B. Eyring, who is the first counselor in our first presidency, the second counselor in the first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a prophecy that he made about BYU-Idaho students. Listen to this.
They will be natural leaders who know how to teach and how to learn. Those graduates of BYU-Idaho will become, and this is a prophecy that I am prepared to make and make solemnly. Those graduates of BYU-Idaho will become legendary for their capacity to build people around them and to add value wherever they serve. I hope I live long enough someday to meet some employer who employed one of you and says, where did that come from? I've never had such a person. And I'll smile and say, well, come with me to Rexburg. And I may not be able to show it to you, and I may not be able to prove it to you, but you'll feel it. There will be a spirit here. I so testify.
Thanks, Riley. And now it's time for, you guessed it, more prize winners. This time, our prize winners are Vanessa McPherson and Scott Henry. Vanessa McPherson and Scott Henry, congratulations. Please send an email to the address below, and include your name and mailing address. And if you haven't won yet, don't worry, there's one more chance for prizes coming up next, or in a little bit. Okay, so one thing to note with our institutions is that each one has different deadlines. So as you're going over these applications with your students, please be sure to cover the deadlines and make sure that they are applying at the right time. And now we will hear from Mackenzie Stevens from BYU-Pathway Worldwide.
BYU-Pathway Worldwide provides online degrees in partnership with BYU-Idaho and Ensign College. Our mission is to help students become leaders in their homes, churches, and communities. You can see here that last year we served over 65,000 students worldwide in over 180 countries. The gold that you see on this map represents all of the countries where we have BYU Pathway students. So as we saw on the last slide, we have over 41,000 students from last year who are studying in either the US or Canada. So the majority of our student body actually is outside of the United States and Canada. Our eligibility is very open, so students do not need to pay an application fee. There is no SAT or ACT score requirements, and students who are 18 or older don't even need a high school diploma to apply. As part of the application for non-native English speakers, there is a free English exam, and there's also a program called English Connect available for people who don't speak English natively who are working to be eligible for BYU Pathway in the future. We offer 8 different degrees and 21 certificates. So 2 certificates plus general education is an associate degree, while 3 certificates plus general education credits is a bachelor's degree. You can scan the QR code that you see on the slide to get more information about our certificates and degrees. We're going to hear from the president of BYU Pathway, Brian K. Ashton, who's going to share about a special offering with BYU Pathway.
There have been so many educational innovations at BYU Pathway recently that I thought it might be helpful to just do a short video explaining how you get a bachelor's degree. In the past, you had to have 120 credits, or about 40 classes, to graduate with a bachelor's degree. You now only need 90 credits, or roughly 30 classes, to graduate. You start your degree with Pathway Connect. Pathway Connect takes 6 months to complete. Then you move on to a first job-ready certificate. And this is designed to get you an immediate improved employment. Again, it takes 6 months. After completing your first certificate, you move on to a second certificate plus some general education. That takes about a year. At the end of that time, you get an associate's degree. There's 1 more year to complete. You take a third certificate plus the rest of your general education courses. And at the end of 3 years, you will end up with a bachelor's degree. BYU Pathway is designed to get you a better job faster. 60% of them get a better job after Pathway Connect. Then after your first certificate, another 70% get a better job. But by the time you get to your bachelor's degree, another 90% have improved their employment. All this for the low cost in the United States of about $7,200 for the entire bachelor's degree. That's not 1 year, that's all 3 years. And if you're international, it's much, much lower than that. We invite you to join BYU Pathway. Go to BYUPathway.edu to sign up.
Tuition for BYU Pathway varies depending on what country you live in. For students in the United States, it's $83 a credit. The good news is that there's a guaranteed tuition discount for every student. So after applying, students will log into their BYU Pathway portal, and there's a module in there called Heber J. Grant. They'll answer some questions about their circumstances, and then that will be evaluated, and every student who completes the module will be granted a tuition discount that's either 10, 25, or 50% off. You can learn more about our tuition at byupathway.edu/tuition. Many of our students, because of our certificate model, have the opportunity to get a job or improve their employment as they are BYU Pathway students. So many of our students get local jobs, find remote jobs, or even start their own businesses while they're still studying toward a degree. A BYU Pathway education for so many means hope for their future and for their family. We encourage our students to become self-reliant so that they can support themselves and those around them.
Okay. I heard some of you loved our deadline page so much you want to see it again, so going to go back to that really fast. So here are those deadlines if you want to take a picture or a screenshot. I'll leave it there for a second. Okay, so now it is time for our last giveaway winners. And those winners are, from my lovely assistant on the side, Amanda Coford and Warren Hall. Again, that's Amanda Coford and Warren Hall. Please send an email to this email address below and include your name and mailing address. Thank you for participating, and congratulations to all the winners from tonight. Next, we'll have the opportunity to hear from Nick Thurgood and Ben Lotz, who will tell us all about seminaries and institutes.
Thank you, Allison. Seminaries and Institutes is truly unique. We have over 800,000 students in 124 countries, which is remarkable. The reach and impact has been fascinating with almost 40 languages. We've added 125,000 students in 3 years, even despite a time of noted religious decline, and look to offer solutions to students, youth, and young adults all over the world. Seminary helps youth, 14 to 18, high school age students, develop faith in Jesus Christ, find answers to difficult questions, and deepen their conversion to Him. Notably, we've added life preparation lessons into our curriculum recently and locally and then worldwide in January of 2025 to help students build emotional resilience and to prepare to have financial success in the future, and also to help them have good scholarships and to have a good education. These lessons are life-changing for many students who have already taken part in them. And then there's so much else that goes into seminary and institute, but Ben will talk about institute. If you're a high school counselor recommending seminary, you will be helping students find an environment that is focused on Jesus Christ, that will help them learn in a neat place and find friends that they can trust.
Thanks, Nick. Just real quickly, let me grab a microphone. Okay, sorry. I figured I better grab a microphone. My name's Ben Lotz. I'm the registrar of Seminary and Institute. And thanks for what Nick said in seminary. You have students that attend seminary, whatever high school you're the counselor for, either release time or early morning. And so it's good to just be aware of what seminary offers. As far as institute, not all of your students will end up going to a church education school. They may not go to BYU or BYU-Idaho, but we have institute. We have 1,750, I think right now, campus institutes that are right by campus at whatever school they're going to. We also offer stake-based institute programs and online offerings. I think with Institute, the thing to just know is we're focusing on helping students to connect to Jesus Christ, to have relevant experiences in the scriptures, to have activities and just belonging in general, so that our students have a place that they can go and feel connected to the Savior and to other people. We want to show you a quick video that has a student talking about Institute and also our prophet, President Russell M. Nelson, sharing why our young adults should attend Institute.
I love Institute. I went and tried it out and I absolutely fell in love with it. Everyone was just so welcoming and they just seemed to be so interested in what you're doing with your life. And I think it was one of the first times for a really long time that I've actually felt like the Savior's love for me through these people.
May I invite you to do something that will help you in a way few other things can. Attend Institute. Institute will offer you inspiring instructors, faithful friends, and a feeling of belonging.
We have so many experiences with our Institute students and the amazing experiences they're having all over the world. And we're grateful for what President Nelson added and the promises that our young people get for attending Institute. To get more information or to help your students go to Institute, they can go to myinstitute.churchofjesuschrist.org. And if they take Institute classes, they can transfer those credits to any of the CES schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben and Nick. I loved hearing more about Seminary and Institute. And thank you everyone for participating today. If you have further questions that haven't been answered in the comment section yet, or that you think of later on, this is the contact information for all of our institutions, and there are people who are ready and happy to help with any questions that you may have in the future. So we'll leave that there for a second for you to take a picture. All right. Again, thank you for being here with us today, and thank you so much for all that you do for your students. We know you keep track of a lot of different information for universities and schools everywhere, and we appreciate the time you took to tune in today so that you could help your students as they strive to continue on their educational journeys within the church educational system. Thank you, and goodbye.